Hi,
Hi,
we're here. It was only a 10-second countdown. That happened really fast.
about 10 seconds, I think.
Yep. Okay, for those of you who are tuning in who typically see Disney Parks Talk live, um, it's actually going to be a little special end of year chat between my husband and I. I'm Rebecca Mosley, the co-founder of A Laughing Place, and over there is my husband Doobie. Yeah, we initially founded this little piece of the web for Disney fans way back in 1999. Yeah. So we thought we'd get together and chat a little bit about our adventures over the past year because, Doobie, it's been a ridiculously amazing year for us.
It has been a year unlike any other ever has been and likely ever will be. The number of things we got to do this year, um, and varied things. It's not like we just went to Disney World 10 times. We just got to do so many different Disney related things this year that it's going to be exciting to relive 2024. It's been amazing.
I'm going to
Amazing.
say a quick hi to Caitlin. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, this is going to be a combo of our vacations and our media coverage that we've ended up doing throughout the year. And we're going to just start at the beginning of the year and kind of make our way through. Um,
I'd like to thank TFC Credit Corporate, TFC Tuition Financing. Not so sure about that. For this jacket, the company where I work.
we are starting off in January, which for me meant I traveled down to Southern California for the media launch of the Lunar New Year celebration at Disney California Adventure. Such a beautiful festival. A lot of really interesting foods are available as well. You see here a cold brew with taro that I fell in love with, and this macaron is so good. Thankfully, it's a dynamic that they offer over at San Francisco, but it takes on a different flavor palette this time of year. But in general, if you want an oversized, amazing macaron, you can find it at San Francisco over there in Disney California Adventure. So yeah, we'll put links in the area. What's it called, Doobie?
Description.
Thank you. In the description, kind of highlighting all the different stuff that we reported throughout the year, so you'll know what you missed over here at Laughing Place. Later in the next month, Pixar Place Hotel opened. Oh, Doobie, we discovered a new favorite restaurant with the opening of this hotel.
Yeah, the Great Maple over there. It's not a Disney exclusive restaurant, but they did open one at Pixar Place. No real relation to Pixar, but they do have some cool Pixar images on the wall there. But it's just really incredible. Some really great sweet treats there, and also just I think the chili kile is what I got last time, and it is nice large portions, very comfortable, cozy, kind of indoor outdoor seating. So really nice addition. That location right there has always been one of our favorites, going way back to Summer Tree, back before Disney even owned the hotel. So it's nice that the tradition continues. Have a great place to eat right there at Pixar Place Hotel.
One of the fun things that happened for me in regards to the hotel was, as Juby mentioned, we've been following that hotel for a long time, and I can remember when we put up pictures. Juby and I took photos of it getting a a Paradise Pier logo. After it had been the Pacific Hotel, right? We got pictures of it becoming the Paradise Pier Hotel. And I happened to be down there at the Disneyland Resort when they were putting up Luxo Juniors and when they were putting up the Pixar Place Hotel logo. And I don't know, it made me so happy to be there for that little moment in history, having recalled
Right.
the addition of the Pixar, I'm sorry, of the Paradise Pier logo. Let's see. Also in January, you and I got to have a little special date night at Disneyland, Doobie.
Yeah, so we got to go down to Sweetheart Nights at Disneyland Park, And our first, I think this is probably my first after hours event I've done at Disneyland Resort. I've done a couple of Disney World. My first one was Disneyland Resort, and they're unlike Disney World, they're very, very themed. So this was Sweetheart Nights, where you got to walk around, a lot of cool stand-ups to get your picture taken at, as well as a lot of couples, including Spaceman, the Ultramarine Spaceman, Esmeralda and Phoebus, tons of characters you don't see all the time, and just some really great picture spots. The whole place looks pink, which is my favorite color, so it's really nice. And it was really nice just to go there with you, and it actually was just a really nice romantic date night, which is, I think, exactly what they want it to be. So
Yeah, we were able to we were able to take a lot of really sweet pics during the event and try a lot of interesting food items. Do you happen to recall any in particular that you were fond of?
I don't. I remember some that I tried. I'm not sure I left them. The food may have been a slightly disappointing aspect of the event, but I love that sweater you were wearing. I did like this. I did
I
like.
remember a really nice funnel cake, and I still remember the these are some pretty videos. Let's go ahead.
So much pink. I love this event.
Oh yeah, you're a big fan of pink, but no, I remember the ravioli.
Yeah, that was pretty yummy. I think that was out in Toontown, and that was pretty good. There was some good stuff. Just some of the stuff I was most looking forward to wasn't great, but that's irrelevant. It was a really fun event, well put on, just great.
You're right, it's a Herbie, and they're doing those again this year, as I recall. The after hours events, you pay an additional fee, and it's an evening that it's the later hours of the day. You come in around
Yeah.
dinner time and stay till the after midnight kind of dynamic.
Yep. Yep. They are definitely back this year. I can't remember if they have new ones this year or just returning ones. I know they are returning.
I
But
don't know
yeah,
if any of our teams in the chat and recalls if there were new. I don't recall any new ones being announced this year
no, I
either.
feel like there was just some returning ones, but it's like I said, unlike Disney World, they're highly themed and just a lot of fun to go to. You can go to all of them, get a different experience every time.
With that in mind, I want to remind you that Laughing Place is a site that is constantly updated. We do our best to keep all Disney fans up to date on kind of the latest Disney news and information, whether it's at the theme parks or within the movies or TV. So pretty much if it's happening at Disney, you're going to know about it if you're following Laughing Place. And in that vein, one of the aspects of 2024 for me meant I did a red carpet interview, in this case, a yellow carpet. It had been a while since this had been part of my responsibilities at Laughing Place, but National Geographic launched a special documentary series called Queens. It focused on kind of that female aspect of nature, and a lot of the creative team, amazing women in the industry. And so, yeah, so I got to go to the yellow carpet and hear all about that project. Oh, it was so fun. It's a good time. You, Doobie, on the other hand, managed to snag a picture of Super Bowl champ.
Did I? Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures here and going, was that me?
Yes, it was.
So yeah, that's Patrick Mahomes. I was rooting for the other team, but that's okay. Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now it's coming back to me because we were down in Pasadena for the Super Bowl. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes, as always, the winner or an MVP comes to Disneyland or Disney World. In this case, Disneyland. And we were out there and got to snag a picture of the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Okay, so Doobie and Ben, our CEO here, they were in Town Square so that they could make sure to capture these images of Patrick Mahomes. I, however, did not want to deal with the crowds, and so I went and I hid in Benji coming in with the marketing tag. So I was hiding in Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. So I watched the presentation there and enjoyed there's a nice little bench in there. So I had a cushiony place to sit, hiding from the crowds. And then the way things worked as I was leaving Mr. Lincoln, I could hear the crowd swell with excitement over Patrick Mahomes' arrival. And I literally looked out the window, as you exit the Great Moments there at Disneyland, the Mad Hatter shop is right there. And I literally looked out the window of the Mad Hatter shop, and there was Patrick Mahomes. He looked right at me. I looked right at him. So I had a nice little moment with the champ, even though I was from the crowd. As part of that visit, though, Doobie, we also
All right, I could not hear you over that. We got to, what did you say? All right.
Are you hearing the music? Is that what you're saying?
I hear the music and you, but I can't hear you over the music.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I meant to mute it and I hit the wrong button.
Okay.
This parade, I love this parade, and I wanted to know what your thoughts are on Magic Happens.
This is like one of the best daytime parades ever. I mean, nothing will probably ever catch up to Lion King Celebration for me, but putting that aside, this is the best daytime parade I've seen, and it's awesome, and I'm so glad it returned, and it remains. It's a great parade.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Even has a Sven. I wonder if this is why we picked up a animated reindeer this year. We have one now in our. I wonder if it's part because of this parade.
We named him Max instead of Sven. What's wrong with us?
I know, right? What were we thinking? We clearly messed up there. Oh, let's see. I'm going to scroll over to the next picture because
we're in March now. We've reached March.
Yep. Food and wine. It means tasty treats at California Adventure. There's a theme here, and we ate a lot of really good stuff at the Disney resorts. I don't know about you, but I sure did. My favorite was, I still think about this stupid churro. It was a banana churro with a very tasty, like marshmallowy sauce on it. I remember it had butterscotch chips on it as well. It was so sweet and wonderful. It was there at Willie's Churros. We're doing well, Heather. We're having fun taking a look back at all the amazing things that we tried and foods we sampled and adventures we had at Disney over the past year. How about you?
Yeah, this is one of the few quite a few that you got to do, especially down at Disneyland without me. So you got to enjoy food and wine. I didn't get to do this one with you.
I got to really give a try to web slingers. I felt like since I was by myself, I took advantage of single writer and had a chance to write it multiple times. I really like it, Doobie.
I know you do. I'm very happy that you love it.
One of the things, if you're gonna write it, know that you score better if you can get everybody in your vehicle to work together towards the task that the voice is telling you. Like there's a portion where it'll say, knock out this particular item in order to save Spider-Man. And if all of you work together and make that happen, you get exponentially more points. So, keep that in mind if you're gonna check out Web Slingers over at California Adventure. Also got to sample some tasty food, some tasty beers. They do a really good job with their beer flights and their wine flights, and their they even had a champagne flight during the food and wine festival. The sample portions are healthy, but yet not so much. So I appreciated the price in comparison to the amount that I received and the variety. And I got to sample a lot of different items without feeling like it was too much. Once again, I was by myself, so I didn't want to, it's like I don't want to have too much. So yeah, it worked out well. Also during this time, I want to say it was during March. Let me double check my.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you went from food and wine to meet up with us in a different city. And then from that city, we actually traveled to Southern California to do a little Wish home entertainment event on the Disney Studio lot, which was very, very cute. We got to meet Star right here and We actually got some storytelling from one of the voices from the movie, and then we got to watch the movie on the Disney lot in the theater they have there. So this was an extremely cute, just out and back same day event. I felt like such a jet setter, but it was cool to meet Asha, of course, and I'm a big fan of the movie. I really like that movie, so it was great to see it again and see it on the Disney lot. That was fun.
Yeah, and we also had the chance to see. Oh, that's totally unrelated. We also
Yes.
had a chance to see the Once Upon a Studio short on the lot.
That's right.
Which was a super amazing aspect of it. This was a D20. This was a D23 event. So this was.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, right. It was a D23 home video.
Yes.
Event, as I
Yes.
recall. Okay. So yeah, so lots of fun with that as well. Doobie, by the way, if you wanted to have your stuff too, go ahead. I thought you might be, so just in case you were wondering, I wanted to let you know.
Okay, you're doing fine.
Not messing me up too much. Oh, Heather, I'm sorry, Hassan coming in. Hi there. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Happy New
We're just
Year as we go through the year.
Yeah, we're just making our way through the year. In case you're wondering what happens around here, we thought we'd give you a little sliver of the variety of content that you find around here. And in this case, focusing specifically on the adventures that Doobie and I had. We founded Laughing Place. Now we have a tremendous team here. We have Ben and Alex and Tony and Becca and Trisha and Eric and Mike C and Jeremiah, and we have team in Florida, we have team in Southern California, we have people who specifically are focused and have a passion in Star Wars or have a passion in Marvel. So we do our best to keep you informed on kind of all things Disney. And to that aspect, I found myself at the Greek Theater.
I just want to point out we have reached April. I like giving the chronology that we are. So we have reached April now. Things are about to really kick in. You know what I'm really realizing though, going through this year, you've done a lot of stuff without me this year.
Yeah.
As much as I've done, you've done so much that I didn't do.
So this event was down at the Greek Theater, was to honor Jane Goodall. They had a documentary presentation there at the Greek Theater. And since I was down in Southern California, I was asked to represent Laughing Place at the Ryman Arts Gala, and former Disney Imagineer Bob Weiss received the Visionary Award there. A tremendous experience being there at the gala. It was on the WDI like creative campus area, so it was in a beautiful like a restored terminal. It was like a smaller airport terminal, and so we were there at the gala. Yeah, raising money to help a tremendous school for talented artists. So we'll be sure, like I say, you'll see in the section below our various articles connected with the stuff we're talking about right now. But yeah, so more fun was had that weekend. I think this is all part of the same trip. Thank you.
Grand Central.
Grand Central Air Terminal. Thank you, Ben, for the specifics on that.
And yes, the next day is the same trip, or the next picture rather is the same trip.
And I found myself at Disneyland for Season of the Force. This is their special Star Wars celebration that they do there at the parks, at Disneyland Resort specifically. You'll find a variety of food items connected to Star Wars. This year, they actually had new elements added to Star Tours. They added some Ahsoka content, and we were able to hear from oh yeah, they added Sabine Wren. to meet and greet people there at the parks, and then we got to hear from Tom Fitzgerald. Tom Fitzgerald?
Yes, you got it.
Okay. Of WDI, as he talked about some of the new aspects, bringing the space whales, the purrgils, to Star Tours. We got to hear from, this was a media event. We heard from, I want to say Matt Martin, about some of the little hidden elements and aspects that you'll find within Batuu and Star Tours, and how they work with Lucas to make sure to bring in accurate, right? They keep within the story. So it was a fun day. They had a scavenger hunt this year as part of the Season of the Force, but this was my favorite, because these little guys had been teased in various footage, and I think they had like a surprise appearance at the parks one time, but I hadn't seen them in person, and they're adorable on film, but oh, they are even cuter in person. So cute. Did you ever get to see these in person, Doobie, or was this something that I ended up, just me?
No, just you. I didn't get to see them, and this is just incredible. These things walk. Like, just where is tech right now? That's just crazy.
They're like adorable little robot ducks. And they even like processed through Batuu with a couple of Disney cast members alongside, and it was almost like a little Ducks on the Parade. It reminded me like of the Peabody Hotel when you would go and everybody would line up and watch the ducks march out to the little fountain there. So yeah, lots of fun to be had there at Seasons of the Force at the Disneyland Resort. Once again, that usually happens kind of in the late spring leading up to kind of overlaps with May the 4th. So be sure to stay tuned to Laughing Place. We'll be bringing you 2025 from Season of the Force. I can't believe it. 2025 around the corner.
Still in April. I think I got to do this when we got to go out to Walt Disney World and see the Flower and Garden Festival, among other things, while we were out there.
Aww. Goofy blowing little.
This was not a media trip or anything too fancy, just a trip out to Disney World with family, have some fun. But our first time to get to see some of this stuff, I believe this was our first time seeing the Walt statue and things like that. So every trip to Disney World is a great trip to Disney World.
Benji coming in about Season of the Force.
Oh, thank you. March 28th, right? 2025.
Or is he coming in with Flower?
So let us know in a second. my bet is Seasons of the Force. As you mentioned, eating is always a very important part of our trip. So in this case, drinking, Brown Derby.
Margarita flight at the Brown Derby. I cannot recommend this enough, especially if you're able to get a seat on the patio. There is nothing like sitting at the patio of the Brown Derby and enjoying a wonderful margarita flight. I'll be honest, I share it with a friend. We sample the three, and then we pick which one we like the most, and that's the one we have all of among them. And then usually we end up splitting the other one because it's a nice little set of three smaller margarita size, and then a Cobb salad that we split at the table. So yummy. I don't do pork products, so there's no bacon on this one. But yeah, so they toss it after they demonstrated to me there's no bacon, which is very thoughtful. So yummy.
I believe this picture is from our favorite breakfast place on property. I just love, nothing fancy, just a trip to Disney World. When you look at this year, this is on the nothing fancy side, but it was still a fantastic trip. The Trattoria on the boardwalk is, people ask us food advice. Our number one thing is breakfast at the Trattoria on the boardwalk. There it is, right there.
X out the info up at the top.
Yeah, that's what I thought I was doing right there.
There you go.
I hit the right arrow instead.
No. Trattoria is one of our favorites there at Walt Disney World. It's an amazingly filling breakfast. I don't know about you, Doobie, but oftentimes I find that when we go there for brunch, it's nice because it fills me up enough that I can maybe do like a little snack somewhere in the parks until dinner time because it's a lot of, it's like healthy portions.
Yeah, it is a huge portion, and it's nice because you can go there and then just pop over to Epcot or take a Skyliner ride, which is my favorite thing to do. So, highly recommended. Also on this trip, Rebecca, again without me, you got to check out the newly reopened 1900 Park Fair and meet. Um, dude, this is embarrassing. What's her name?
Marisol.
Mer-
Mara.
oh my goodness,
My goodness,
from
I've
Encanto.
forgotten too.
It's not Merida.
No, it's not. This is gonna drive me crazy.
Oh my
Not
goodness, so embarrassing. Too many characters.
Maribel.
Maribel. This is just old age. This isn't even
Maribel.
old age.
Frustrating. Maribel.
Mirabelle from Encanto. You got to meet Aladdin,
Cinderella was there. Aladdin was there.
and of course,
And
Tiana was
Tiana
there.
in her adventurer outfit, and this really focuses the storytelling aspect of the 1900 Park Fair really focused on dreaming and what's your dream, what's your wish, what do you want to achieve, and they even encourage you to write it down on a card. And then at one point they have this wonderful moment where Jiminy Cricket's voice fills the air, and it's like I say, it's just one of those Disney storytelling dining experiences where there's a moment. It's not like full theater show or anything like that. It's just in the midst of your meal, there's this moment that kind of reminds you that Disney messaging of wishing and dreaming and what it means to realize your dreams, and you're surrounded by all these stories of these characters whose dreams came true. So you leave on a high. It's a total like pump you up, have a wonderful time. And the food was super tasty, a wide variety of items. Some were a little bit more adventurous in kind of a Mediterranean seasoning palette. But they also have the standard, chicken strips as well. The chilled soup that people adored from the Grand Floridian was there. So I was happy to see its return as well. So yeah, 1900 Park Fair. It was a beautiful redesign, and I loved the character offerings that they had there.
And as April came to a close and May began, I believe this was another Rebecca only trip to Pixar Fest.
It was. Yeah. And in fact, our team came up with an article called 6 Things to Look Out For at Pixar Fest, and we'll have that linked below. So if Pixar Fest makes its way back in 2025, you'll have some ideas to what happened in 2024. But they transformed the Fantasyland Theater into a delightful showplace where they had this interactive show with the characters from Inside Out. I remember Sadness was a bit of a meme due to this show. Up there, they also had an amazing cold brew. I think that's my cold brew place. The Troubadour Treats, I think, is the name of the eatery right there. That particular eatery, every time you do it, though, it keeps doing the info up at the top.
So no, I use that, but I forget to close it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
but yeah, this one was like a butterscotchy flavor, but they have really sweet, tasty cold brew. But they had a parade over at California Adventure that you could check out. I'll be honest, I didn't see it because Celestino covered Pixar Fest. I actually was down south to try out the new tours. They brought back those tours that they offer at Disneyland Resort. In this case, one was the railroad tour. So we learned more about the history of the railroad, Walt's love of trains. We got to ride in the Lily Bell. And this is a tour that is booked through Disneyland.com. So be sure to visit Disneyland.com if you would like to learn more about the trains. They gave us a beautiful recreation of the poster that hangs in the Main Street station. And that was part of the gift from the tour. But it was a few hours in the morning. They gave us a little bit of food before we started on our adventure, a little small pastry along with, I want to say it was an orange juice And then we were on our way to learn more about the railroad. The next day, I did one that was about the gardens of Disneyland. They took you around and told you more about kind of the way that Disney utilizes landscaping to tell stories. I learned much, much more about the color palette choices that they make and why they selected some of the colors that they do in the gardens that you find, you know, such as here at the It's a Small World Plaza, just there in front of the attraction. I called it that. I don't know that that has an official name, but Disneyland. Nikki B coming in and going, I love Disneyland tours. I do too. I know you do, Doobie. You when you first became an annual pass holder.
Yeah, I used to take just a welcome to Disneyland tour. They're like, this is my first time here. Let's give you a lay of the land tour all the time. I think it was like $8 back then, if you can believe that. And I just would love to take that tour. And I got to know the tour guides. And I tried not to be a jerk. I just sat there quietly and took the tour. I wasn't a Mr. Know-it-all, and just had a great time.
And
I had no friends.
The nice thing about those tours, though, is that even if you've taken the tour, even though they're scripted, the guides are passionate about the topic, and so they tend to dive in and learn stuff on their own. And depending on the interests of the people on the tour, you'll learn some new nuggets of information here and there, depending, because people will ask questions that'll trigger discussions that maybe didn't happen the previous time you'd been on the tour. So a lot of I enjoy, like you say, I enjoy seeing the park in a different way, learning more about the history behind it, and it causes you to really stop and really kind of be in the moment when you're at the park, because you're not trying to get to the next attraction. You've got almost like blinders on. You're specifically focused on whatever the subject is of your tour, and so it's a unique way of experiencing the park. So if you haven't taken one, I highly recommend looking into the tours at the Disney parks.
If you had asked me to list every cool thing that you and I got to do this year, there is no way in the world I would have remembered this event.
These are actually the Donald Duck glasses that I found at Disneyland Resort, because they're so cute. But yes, there was a I ended up going to a Donald Duck birthday party. I think the next picture. Yes. I went to Donald Duck 90th birthday party. This was a box lunch, a bit of fun. So just it was some craziness. They had some macarons. Yeah. Part of what happened this year.
And then we had a good time going to see the Beach Boys documentary for Disney Plus, but they did have a big screen showing on IMAX. It was actually a lot of fun to go into the city with you and see this on the big screen. Just to hype up our Disney enthusiasm, as we knew coming up just a couple of days later was probably the biggest thing we were looking forward to this year, and that was our trip for the first time to Disneyland Paris.
I still can't believe we actually made it to Disneyland Paris.
We made it to Disneyland Paris. It was fantastic. A little 5-day trip, a couple of days not in the parks, a couple of days in the parks, including one day, which was just unbelievably spectacular, something called a Dream Tour, which is like a VIP tour plus. And just being in Paris for the first time with my family, being at Disneyland Paris for the first time for any of us, seeing it all, touring it all. I'll let Rebekah talk, but it was spectacular.
We got to experience the Disneyland Hotel's Castle Club, which it's like being a guest of the princesses. Their costuming there is amazing, how ornate and beautiful it is. The variety of foods that they had available up there at the club was beautiful, along with the views. Just an incredible, really elegant experience. But I was not prepared for how beautiful the park was, and the shows, the level of entertainment. I don't know what surprised you most, I think, Doobie, about our Disneyland Paris.
About the parks itself, the parks themselves. I mean, the Disneyland Paris Hotel. That's what really got me. Our room was incredible. The castle club's incredible. The princess interactions, I will never forget just sitting down in the club and talking to Rapunzel and telling her how Snow White was my favorite princess. No, that's not what I said. Let's get this right. Telling her Snow White is the best princess. I should have said favorite because she got offended that I called her the best. That was just such a memorable interaction. But the park itself is. I'm amazed at how much stuff there is to do other than the rides. There's just so many experiences there, so many walkthrough experiences that are so cool, so much fun. Totally separate from the ride, walking around Pirates in that area. Just as you
Mm-hmm.
walk into Frontierland, there's this fort for you to walk through and walk up. And then, of course, Big Thunder Mountain, which I dreamt of riding my whole life, did not disappoint going underneath the river. And Space Mountain, which we're so lucky we realized, or Benji realized it was about to close for refurb. So we literally had like an hour to ride it before we would have lost out because it wasn't going to be open the next day, and rushing over there and getting to ride it. And again, I can still picture my edition of the Disney Channel magazine, the Disney magazine way back when, that had it on the cover, and me just going, oh, someday, someday. So that day finally came, and yeah, it was just a dream trip to Disneyland Paris. Even aside from Disneyland, we got to spend a day in Paris itself, which was everything I wanted it to be, being in Paris with my family. Just a perfect, perfect experience. So glad. 2024 was amazing.
One of the things that I wasn't prepared for when we were at Disneyland Paris was the various themed resorts that they have. Like I didn't realize just how fun some of the other locations were there, and we went off. I want to say that was is that Sequoia? No, that was Sequoia
Santa Fe,
and Santa Fe.
Santa Fe, Cheyenne, they
Yeah.
somewhat similar themes.
But what blew me away was when we went over to the Newport Beach, and it was like walking into the yacht club. It
Yeah,
was so
totally different
bizarre.
feel. Right.
It was, yeah, it felt so familiar, and yet we
Yeah.
were, all the way over in France, but yet it felt so familiar as Walt Disney World, as frequent Walt Disney World guests. One of my favorite aspects of this trip was that we saw Alice in Wonderland. However, Doobie and Gideon really wanted to see something else, and we were short on time. And so while the bulk of our group went to see the new show, Alice in Wonderland, if you see our timeline of photos, you will see that at the same time, Doobie and Gideon were at Cars Road Trip.
Yes.
Now, for those of you who don't know what they've done at the Disney Studios park there, which is going to become Disney Adventure World by name. Is it next year that happens?
Yes, that is next year. It is in process now. It is next year.
They have Carsified their little backlot type tour. Now there's not very much to see there. In fact, you did it, Doobie, so you can talk about it.
I want to correct you. I think it's actually not till 2026, not 25. Sorry about that. That the name change happens. I can do a quick search. Yeah, we did Cars Road Trip, which is just Catastrophe Canyon, but rethemed to Cars. It's a really, really bad attraction, but it is so much fun. It's just, you just kind of run around and then you reach finally this place, and just, he's got eyes, he's sentient, and he's drowning, and there's fire around him. There's just something so odd about this attraction. So odd. So
Benji confirming 2024. 2026.
2026. How could you forget a name like that? Disney Adventure World. I'm pretty sure we've got one down the street in Westminster. But it was I'm so glad. I'm glad you got to see the Alice show, and I'm glad we said, you know what, we would rather do this, and took off and did it. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, Adventure World was. I mean, Alice's. You gave me the official name.
Alice and the Queen
of Hearts. Back to Wonderland was amazing. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I was not prepared for how much I would enjoy it. It's high energy, and so it was a lot of fun. Nikki B coming in and saying, "Poor Truckee."
Yeah. I don't know how he survives it every day, but that was a whirlwind. 4 days, really essentially 4 days in Paris, and then that closed out our May of travel, I believe.
Yes, yes, it did. Yeah. And then you were off to Florida for some
Yeah,
adventures.
yeah. By the time June rolled around, it was time to head down to Walt Disney World and open up a new attraction, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So it made its debut in June at Disney World, as you can see there. Got some cool stuff, of course. I always get cool stuff when you go to these media events. Had various events around the event. So one of the things we got to do was just a little party at the used to be called the Millennium Village. Um, a little party. I think it's I don't know, whatever. Party with Naveen and Princess Tiana. There were celebrities there. There you can see the voice of Mama Odie's there, and the guy with the trumpet. He did some of the music for the attraction. You can see the Imagineers over there. The lady right there in the middle is from the Chase family. So just a wonderful event to kick off the celebration of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And then we got to just kind of stand around while they did a cast opening for the attraction. This was really made for the cast, a giant cast picture, but they let some of the media just come there and observe, which was really nice. And then the attraction itself opened, and so lots of interviews and stuff. This is what it's like at a media event. Lots of interviews, and of course, we did get plenty of chances to ride. We were supposed to have a night party where we got to ride it to our heart's content, but unfortunately, it rained out that day, so we got to see Disney spring into action and turn the contemporary convention center into an indoor party location, which was a lot of fun. This lady on the right did, I think she did the weather vane that she designed the weather vane that's on top of the attraction. It's really cool, especially with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They use so many local people from New Orleans or various artists to do so much stuff instead of everything just being doing in-house by Imagineering. Just tons of community people doing a lot of the work. And then, hey, they get invited to the media event and they're just walking around like anyone else. They're not used to being at a media event. They're just having a good time. So I saw her and I can't remember how, I think it was her mom. That's her mom there. And I think her mom, we were just in line and her mom said, my daughter did the weather. I'm like, what? So she was so proud. So I got a picture of the two of them. I don't know, especially when you get moments like this, these events are really, really special. So, and I got to see Tiana's Bayou Adventure going back to 2023 when I got to go to New Orleans and get a lot of the backstory from Imagineering and some of the artists there. So for it to finally, and even further back than that, going to a special event they had at Disney World at Epcot before we could even like take any pictures or anything. So. So I've been following this from behind for quite a while. And so finally to get to June and have it actually open up was really, really exciting. Yeah, and I like the attraction. It's a good attraction. I'm glad it's there. During that same trip, got to go to, this is finally one I got to do without Rebekah. So during the same trip, I got to see Disney's drone show for the first time, Dreams That Soar, which is spectacular. Oh my goodness, for a show that doesn't cost anything, that you just see over at Disney Springs, to be that good is really impressive. So, yeah, and those are the Disney ambassadors there, and got to have a final party in the House of Blues after the drone show. And that trip actually dovetailed into what we call boys trip. Some of our friends from Benji came out, and some friends from Las Vegas, friends of Gideon and ours from Las Vegas came out, and we got to do boys trip where we tried out minivan, which was pretty cool. Got to see Lanuba. We stayed in the treehouse. And then we took a tour over Walt Disney World. Speaking of tours, it was a fun way to do Walt Disney World with a tour. And I think we did a tour. I'm not even sure.
What do you think? Anyway, what do you think of Communicore?
Communicore, at the time, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, because we're there. So yeah, the Tiana event is where they open Communicore, and it's really made well for like a space for a convention or an event. An event space. So, and that's what it was for us, an event space. So they just had food and it was crowded, there was music, and it was perfect for that. But when it's not a big event space, when it's just a space, it doesn't seem to be quite as nice. I haven't been out there for that, but all the pictures and reports I've seen, it's just an empty space, not that impressive. I do really like the outdoor section. Obviously, it could use some shade. I agree with that. But I do think it looks really nice. I enjoyed watching Encano out there. I like what they've done with the outdoor portion, but that indoor portion seems like maybe they'll do some work on that.
Now, while you were at Walt Disney World for all that fun, I was actually in Ohio, and it wasn't officially Disney, but there's an organization called Dayton Disneyana, and actually a group of Disney friends get together, and they started this organization and raise money for a local charity group called Pirate Packs, who feed kids in the area. They like subsidize the school food programs, so that during periods of like school breaks or over the weekend, children who rely on the food from school do not go hungry. And so we were able to raise over $20,000 during that weekend. And so if you are a Disney fan, look around, because there are a number of organizations out there that are Disney fans who get together for good in their area. If you're in the Ohio area, check out Dayton Disneyana. And even if you're not, we do some virtual events as well from time to time. And so you'll end up with some Disney items, but all the money will go to charity. In the case of Dayton Disneyana, they're very upfront about what the money that comes in and where it goes specifically. And so you will have some Disney fun and also help an area charity. So what were you up to next, Doobie?
So still in June, I went for, I believe this was just an overnight trip to Walt Disney World to check out the Department of Defense Warrior Games, which is probably the most memorable thing I did this year. This is an opportunity for veterans who have been injured in some way to show off their skills in various sports. Disney is a big sponsor of this and holds the games here. And I was very, very thankful to be invited out by Disney to come cover it and talk to some of these amazing athletes and human beings. This gentleman was there with his wife, who could not have been prouder of him. And you can see in the background, I believe they are practicing wheelchair. I'm not even sure if it's wheelchair basketball. They're doing a practice back there. I mean, you can only imagine how emotional an event like this is. But these guys are just the most energetic, uplifting people. All the people I got to talk to were participating in the games, and then the person I got to talk to from Disney, who was kind of a liaison, he's a veteran and he does a lot of the work in this. I believe his name is Cappy. I thank you, Disney. Out of all the cool things I got to do this year, that Disney invited me to do this year, thank you so much for inviting me out to cover the Department of Defense Warrior Games. This is definitely a highlight of 2024.
Man, you got to do some really awesome fun stuff. I did some fun stuff without you, but you did some fun stuff without me.
That was a great one. We got to move on. I'm going to cry.
I know. Okay. July was amazing, and you got to go to Essence Fest down there in New Orleans. It was more Tiana fun. I know July is also when we got to check out the new Fort Wilderness cabins.
We did. We got to see the newly reopened Fort Wilderness cabins, which was kind of fun. And right about them, what did you think of those cabins, Rebekah?
I'm torn. I liked the kind of the modern look, but I kind of missed the somewhat campy nature of it, looking like it's, made out of giant logs, like Lincoln logs and built a cabin. But the amenities themselves in the cabin were the bunk beds were beautiful. Gideon enjoyed the bunk bed along with his Uncle Ben, having some fun. What we really should be showing all of you is the challenge it was to get out of the bunk bed.
Yes.
Once we got into the bunk bed, you're like, how do I get out of the bunk bed? But they still have a Murphy bed. We went and checked out. Disney invited us to check out Hoop De Doo review on its anniversary.
Yeah, it was the 50th anniversary of Hoop De Doo the day we were there, which was so cool.
We stopped by the campground movie night, which is something that when we were locals to Florida, we used to stop by every now and again and check out a movie under the stars and roast some marshmallows. out there in the big campfire. They have a nice campfire sing along beforehand. During this trip is when I finally got to get a little look at Bayou Adventure. It's fun. Lucky enough now to have ridden both at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, and I gotta say, Disneyland is way more fun than Walt Disney World. But I feel like Disneyland Splash Mountain was also way more fun than Walt Disney World's. But Disney World's had some unique features that but as far as just like kind of that energy that it had of the tension and then the way it concluded, I feel like, Disneyland's always had kind of a better pacing to it. And Tiana's Bayou Adventure still kind of struggles a little bit in that area for me. Did you want me to share some of the pictures from Essence Fest that you got to go to?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Essence Fest next. So I got to go to Essence Fest, which is an annual event held in New Orleans, celebrating Black culture. Disney has a large presence there. It was over actually on the 4th of July. So, of course, this year they were showing off Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They showed it off last year as a preview. This year, they were very happy to be able to show that it's now open. And that's just a fun event. Disney shows off, gives you lots of giveaways. Very, very popular in Essence Fest. There's lots of booths in this big, huge area. The Disney booth always has a very large, I say booth, it's a big area, has a very long line to get in. Some cool giveaways, got these Tiana ears. They do lots of various things on the stage. Go ahead.
This is actually a peek at the costuming that Mickey and Minnie were to showcase at Lighthouse
Point and Lookout. Lighthouse Point. I'm sure it's Lighthouse Point.
Okay, thank you. I was thinking
Lookout Key.
I always I reverse those.
Yeah, this was first an early look at the costuming there, and then they do a lot of performances on this stage, and they also do tons of giveaways. If you want to win like a free, yes, we're in July. If you want to win a free cruise, go to Essence Fest, because I mean, I wouldn't say they're giving them out like water, but there are quite a few giveaways at Essence Fest. And then got to see Tiana and her cool costume get interviewed, and lots of picture spots. Just a really different kind of fun event. We came to play is the big thing at Essence Fest. And one of my highlights on that trip is I got to meet Leslie Iwerks while waiting for a presentation. So that was pretty cool. I'd never met her before. Anika Noni Rose was there doing some singing and performing, as was the voice of Mama Odie, because I keep saying that because I can't remember her name right now for some reason.
Jennifer
Lewis, thank you.
No,
and as well as the Imagineers behind Tiana's Bayou Adventure, who I've been with them for years now at all these various events. So to see the pride on their face as these things finally come to life was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see something go from, like, you've been able to follow it this whole time, from the earliest announcements of it, and now for it to finally be something that they can be talking about as in it's here. Speaking of here, we went to the Hollywood Bowl for some concerts featuring Disney music. One of them was legendary composer John Williams, but my favorite was the 80s, 90s celebration. You can find it here on our YouTube channel. An amazing kind of throwback night. Doobie, do you have a favorite? Because this was my dream come true. I'm just gonna say, for the longest time, and it's still it's like so close to my perfect dream, but for the longest time I have dreamt of seeing Fantasmic performed on the Rivers of America with a live orchestra accompaniment. Like sometimes you go to the movies and you see a movie with a live orchestra. I've always wanted to see Fantasmic with a live orchestra. Okay, it wasn't quite that, but it was the opening of Fantasmic performed by a live orchestra, and it was that was everything I thought it would be. So magnificent.
It's pretty cool. This was a great event. Hollywood Bowl is always fun, but having the Disney connection now, this was a great event. Very glad we got to do that this year.
And it got us all pumped for the upcoming D23 fan event, which we started our fun at Anaheim Stadium. They took over for the day. We got to play along with some trivia contests. We got to bring home a bobblehead Mickey. So a lot of fun was had at the D23 day there at Anaheim Stadium.
I'm just now
What?
noticing Point House. Yes, that's what it feels like trying to say it. Remember that exact
I always
name.
forget. Oh, and then it was time for the event.
The event.
Oh, they had Disney D23 day first. We had some fun with that. I forgot
That's true.
about
Yeah,
that.
we're just taking. These are just us taking pictures of the convention center. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. D23 day. There it is. I pull it up. Ta-da! So yeah, we were all there, and then it was the time. So, what were some of your favorite moments of D23? As I'm just going to scroll through some pictures as we share a little bit, because
Sure.
man, we covered that. You want to find it? It's all here. Tons of articles, tons of videos. What were your highlights, Doobie?
My experience was different than yours and everybody else's because I worked our booth, remember? So I didn't get to do very much of D23 at all. I loved working the booth. I loved everyone coming by, saying hi, giving away so much stuff, making lots of people happy with those cool. Yeah, we did skip the tour. Made a lot of people happy giving away because we collect a lot of stuff over the year or 2 years in the case of between D23 events. And then we just take it all down to Anaheim and give it away. So that was a lot of fun. Got to the highlight for me personally was rolling out our big banner, and then as different Disney personalities or people who we know from the fan community would ever come by, getting them to sign our banner. So that was a ton of fun. But as far as the event itself, I saw it from afar. You got to experience. You were in the room where it happened, Rebekah.
I was trying to pull up the best moment when it came to that. Here we go. I found it.
There we go. Yes, Mr. Demaro himself came by and signed our banner and took
Yeah.
a picture with us. So that was pretty awesome.
And
Among many
you got to see him before and after the day.
did.
I mean,
So yeah,
that
it gave us my favorite quote of 2024. He came by before. He seemed quite nervous actually. I think it was the day of the event. The morning, and he seemed pretty nervous, but he came by, he signed for us. And then the next day he came by, like a pep in his step, and his quote was, "How about that, huh?"
I love that because yeah, I was in the room where it happened, and it was amazing to be right there in the Honda Center as announcements were made. The excitement as when that villains announcement happened. I mean, the enthusiasm in the room was amazing. I love when Disney can have like a fan pep rally. It is so much fun to get together with a bunch of people who are just as goofy passionate about Disney as you are, and to be shoulder to shoulder when these kinds of things happen. I skipped over that on purpose, Doobie, just so you know.
Okay.
So but Deadpool was a major winner when it came to D23 fun. So if you missed out on the fun that Deadpool had at the expense of Disney parks, be sure to check out our footage that we were able to get for you at the expo. I think my favorite moments were getting a photo with the lost Dharma truck.
That's one I did get to see was the Cars exhibit.
That made me very, very happy. Hearing from Bob Weiss, he was on stage talking about his career at Disney. That was amazing. And the Legend ceremony, it was like being at the Oscars, not only because of the level of pageantry that they had, but just I couldn't get over who I ended up seeing on stage that night. I mean, Jodie Foster, Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, Miley Cyrus, Kelly Ripa, Ryan Seacrest, so many like celebrities, Harrison Ford, that I've enjoyed their work, but then also people who have been creators of the magic that I've enjoyed too. Joe Rohde was there, Martha Blanding, who we've known because she was part of Disneyland merchandise when we were first starting Laughing Place. And, so we've known her a long time over there because we've been writing about the Disney company now for 25 years. So this D23 Expo, fan event, I enjoyed. I was worried with the split dynamic that I would enjoy it less. And I will say that for me in the future, I think I would not go to the Honda Center. I think I would want to spend more time on the show floor. I missed the show floor, but I'm glad that I did the Honda Center. And I hope every Disney fan has a chance at some point to be kind of in that room, because it's such a special connection and it's such a special feeling to like all be together in that room. And I hope that D23 builds on that. I would love to see kind of more opportunity for that community dynamic. Those were my favorite moments in D23, the fan event, was all together in that room, for that moment. Or when I watched other Disney fans learning the portions of Belle from Beauty and the Beast from Broadway choreographers, and then getting to participate in it right there on the show floor, or the costume contest, or when a song would happen and we would all start singing the song together. It's not a song that like just average Joe on the street's going to join in and sing, right? Like when Jamie Lee Curtis was up on stage and she started talking about Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, then that entire arena, knows the song. That kind of stuff I really enjoyed. So okay, Doobie, what's next? What did we do next? Where do you want to go
Well,
next?
I think we took a couple of weeks off, and then we said, you know what? It's been a while since we've seen a baseball game. Let's try something completely new, and that's not it, but
No, that's
that
fine. I can
is.
pull it up. There you go.
So ESPN this year launched something called ESPN Experiences, completely new, kind of like an Adventures by Disney, but sports themed. So the very first one was called Take Me Out to the Ballparks, where you got to go to a ball game at Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium, and in Philadelphia at Citizens Park. And you also got to go to the ESPN studios in Bristol, Connecticut, i.e., a dream for the Mosleys, because we love baseball and we certainly wanted to see the ESPN studios. We also got to meet some ESPN personalities. So thankfully, we got to do this trip, and it was absolutely amazing. Oh, my goodness. The highlight was definitely visiting the ESPN studios, getting to stand on the NFL Live set and all that cool stuff, getting a really in-depth tour. I think the tour must have lasted like 3 hours, just a really, really in-depth tour. Got to talk to a lot of ESPN personalities, on-air personalities, but just as cool was talking to people like this gentleman, who was one of the backstage producers and video editors, who literally took us through the process of creating
like a replay clip where you watch,
replay.
where they show you like how far the ball has come, and they highlight the guy who's running to catch the ball, and add all the stats in and all that kind of thing. Gideon got to operate the telestrator, and this is the very one that if you're watching, NFL Live, and you see the guys who are using the telestrator on stage, this is the one that they train on. So like Teddy Bruschi will be down here, kind of working on it, getting everything prepped for showtime. So it was for us as ESPN dweebs, it was an amazing experience to be there in Bristol and to be able to be kind of where the magic happens in regards to what we love about sports.
And the games were great too. So Fenway Park, we got to sit atop the Green Monster, which was great. But for both Yankee Stadium and Philadelphia Citizens Park, we got luxury suites, and they had ESPN personalities there with us, and not just like, hey, hi, bye, but we watched the game with them, which is just crazy. They're just sitting there enjoying the game with you. You can go over and talk to them anytime you want to. So Rebekah got to meet a couple of people that she really, really likes. And
I got Michelle Smallman, who is unsportsmanlike co-host mornings on the radio and then also on television. So that was really exciting. I remembered her from years back at ESPN radio. So that was tremendous. I still can't believe that happened. I'm thinking maybe being around all the ESPN mojo, ESPN, like, the gurus and everything, is why I'm doing so well right now in my fantasy football. I mean, I'm still in the 99.9 percentile, and we're way far. Sorry, I went too far. We're way far into the season, so hopefully I'll hold on to my lead here.
And we don't have a picture of me meeting my favorite ESPN personality, but
No, I'm sorry,
Himbo
I
was
don't.
there. Himbo was there, and I got to meet and talk and hang with him, and which was my favorite. So cool. So all this whole time I've been talking about how much I wanted to meet Himbo and how excited I was, and he literally just had a baby like the day before this. So I figured, okay, obviously he's not going to come, but they said he might come. We don't know. Not only did he come, but he was on the bus with us from New York to Philadelphia, and our guide, who knew how excited I was, made sure I got to sit right next to him the whole time. So poor Himbo, but it was really spectacular. That was the highlight of my trip. Nikki B, are they doing another one next year? We don't know. They have not announced if they are doing another one next year, but they have announced their next ballparks. But they have announced their next ESPN Experience, which is actually just a week away. A trip to the Rose Bowl and some other experiences around that. Which so hopefully that's a sign that these will continue and they will do more. But that was like I said, it's been not just a bunch of trips to Disney World. It's been a lot of different kind of adventures, and that was definitely one of the more adventurous.
Well, and that's been part of the fun of being a Disney fan. Like we've been doing this for a while now, and the reality of what it is to be a Disney fan has expanded, and it's been wild to kind of be along on that ride. We ESPN, ABC, Star Wars, Marvel. I mean, because of our passion for Disney, we became Anaheim Angels season ticket holders when Disney bought them. And then that was the year that they went to the World Series. We found ourselves at the World Series when Anaheim was winning. And then because of our partnership with Disneyland, back then we were media, when they had their parade, we were able to go and see the Anaheim Angels at the parade. So just like the weird path that our lives have taken and the wonderful adventures that we've been on, because kind of that foundational aspect being our love of Disney, has been really fun.
It has. So continuing on, no Rebekah on this one, but me and Gideon and I went to our first Oogie Boogie Bash and took the tour that they offer there, which was really cool. My first bash, as I said, and just a really fun event. The characters are really cool. This guy, Ernesto, was that I've seen video of this, but seeing it in person, it's just amazing. So get a chance, Oogie Boogie Bash, really fun. Glad I finally got to do it for myself.
We decided to get somewhat more educated about Disneyland Paris since we'd been, and Eddie Sato did a presentation at the Walt Disney Family Museum, which is nearby us here in the Bay Area. Fantastic presentation. If you're in the Bay Area, check out the Disney Family Museum schedule. I know early in January they're looking at doing something about Pixar in the parks. So check out and see if your timing fits with when a presentation like this is available. Deep dives into Disney history and a lot of fun. And Eddie is amazingly entertaining, incredible storyteller, which is what you almost always experience when it comes to Imagineering. So if you ever are somewhere near him giving a presentation, seize the moment, because it was great.
And then in October, we said it's not enough to go to Paris and to take this baseball thing. We need to do something else we've never done before. So let's go to Aulani. So we actually planned to go to Aulani for our 25th anniversary and your 50th birthday. And some little pandemic got in the way. So we finally got the chance this past October to go to Hawaii for the first time and experience Aulani, Disney's DVC resort out there, which was beautiful.
And I want to thank our friend. I don't know if I want to thank him like, totally by name, but thank you for letting us use your DVC. I
Yes.
so appreciate it, because this was an amazing trip. Got to go to the beach of Lost.
Our favorite show, or at least my favorite show of all time, and Rebecca loves it too.
I love it.
So Lost was entirely filmed in Hawaii, and so we went to see a couple of the beaches from there, which was great.
But what do you think of the hotel itself?
The hotel itself, really pretty, really fun. The water aspects are spectacular, being right there on the beach. I mean, right there on the beach. It's not their beach, but it might as well be, because you just walk a few steps and you're in the water. The water is beautiful. I love the hotel very, very much. Whatever quibbles I have aren't even enough to mention right now. I've mentioned them in other streams and other articles, but I would go back there in a heartbeat. Aulani is beautiful. The sunsets, oh my goodness, I loved it here.
I was gonna say, I think one of your favorite aspects though was the tours, like the gentleman that we.
Right. So they offered 2 tours there, and we took them both. And thankfully, it turned out to be with 2 different tour guides, which was great, because they were both great. And I'm glad we got to experience both of them, both longtime cast members there. And it was just fun. Gideon loved it, like really wanted to do that second tour. He had such a good time. And just to seeing all the little details of the hotel and the landscaping and all that, and learning about the history and the culture, because it's so culturally connected to Hawaii. Yeah, the tours were great. Fantastic. They have a fire pit there where they do some storytelling, which we saw some, and Gideon liked it so much he went back by himself to see it again.
That still blows me away. He enjoyed that so much that while you and I think we went to have dinner, and he was like, I really want to go check out another storytelling. And so we're like, okay, go ahead, have a good time.
Yeah, so Aulani was great. Hawaii was great.
Yeah.
Another great experience. And then that was in October, and we said, you know what? Let's close out this year right. Let's take a cruise. So in mid-November, we got on the Disney Dream, which one of
for
my
our
favorite.
first maritime cruise.
Thank you. Our very first very maritime cruise. We went out of Fort Lauderdale. Our first time going out of Fort Lauderdale. Which was also fun. And while we were docked in Nassau, the Disney Treasure, which hadn't even had its first official voyage yet.
Nope.
It also made its first trip to Nassau, so we got to watch it come in, which whenever you have your first trip, they make it a big deal, so that's why you saw those boats spraying and stuff. And we just got a nice up-close look at the Disney Treasure for a couple hours, which was really, really cool. It was also
I loved it. There was a cast member standing on the front of on the bow of the ship hollering out, Disney Treasure in the house.
And what's fun is, obviously, a lot of the cast members on the trip, these Disney Cruise cast members all rotate and know each other. So it was fun to see everyone excited to see their friends on the other ship and waving and the I love yous and all that. It was very adorable. Maritime was a lot of fun. I think they did a really good job on there, keeping the festive atmosphere. A little disappointed the gingerbread house wasn't there the whole time, but it did come. I think on the third day it was fully done and ready to visit and get some pictures in front of. So that was great. We obviously did a lot of trivia, as we always do, and a lot of stuff in the adult, not adult stuff, but stuff that they happen to hold in the adult area, which means we get that same host all the time. That's always one of my fun things. Who is going to be our host for all the stuff that we do? And so if you will go a couple pictures back real quick, there was ours. I don't remember his name, but we saw him almost every event we did, and he's a really fun guy. Hilarious. Now,
the reason why I included this particular picture, though, is because while we were on the cruise, we were like, wait, do they know something we don't, did they know something we don't know? Because it had in the past tense, the Muppets starred in which attraction? And we were like, wow, I wonder how long ago they made this slide. It was like, whoa, it's like a little
press. To be accurate.
Uh-oh. One of the things that I was sad got rained out for us was the deck show for the holidays, because there wasn't quite as much kind of like holiday stuff as I expected. I feel like Halloween has a heavier presence maybe than Maritime did for me, for what I was expecting. I think the biggest challenge for me was that I love gingerbread, And I was thinking that there would be more like holiday takes on the menu, and the menu was pretty much the same, but the deck show was adorable. It got rained out, but I loved what we did get to see of it. And then we finally got to take that long walk on a longer pier.
All right,
Um,
can I
yeah,
say something about this? This pier has gotten such a rap for being a really, really long walk, and now having done it, having been there and experienced it, it is 100% deserved. That is a long, long, long walk back and forth to that ship.
it was very long. And then we got to this point, and I was like, "Yay, the walk is over!" But then we had to wait for a tram nearby, and the tram area didn't have as much seating as Castaway Cay, but the trams did come more quickly than they come at Castaway Cay. So even though I was standing around, it wasn't as long. Mickey and Minnie have Bahamian influenced wardrobes. Over here on the island, you learn about the cultural Junkanoo ceremonies. The beaches are lovely with the blue water and the soft sand. The play area, that looked like a blast and a half. I think that's what appealed the most to our friends who were traveling with us, was the kids. I think they really liked the beach here as opposed to Castaway, kind of what was available, the way it was positioned. It was easier for them to kind of have a family beach day here with the setup here than it was over at Castaway. Me personally, this was my favorite. The design on the the tram was my favorite aspect of the new lookout point. Um, no, lookout key, lighthouse point,
Look
lookout
at
key. Um,
yes,
I even bought the
look out
water
the
bottle.
lighthouse point.
Like, here's the walk on the way back. Look how long that is. It's
Um,
long.
we're like almost we're 90% done, and that's no, just kidding. But it's a,
I'm
so
sorry.
thankfully the weather was very mild, so the walk was not a huge burden. But I
It,
can definitely see where it would be. I mean, I think we talked. I'm sure we talked about this on the Parks Talk after we went. For me, our friends love Lighthouse Point more than Castaway Key.
yes, they
For
did.
me, for me, I am guessing I will not bother getting off the ship at this island anymore. Perfectly happy to enjoy an empty ship. I barely get off the Castaway Key anyway because I don't like sand, but all the more so here. I think for me, I'll happily stay on the ship and enjoy that. But I am glad they did not do a carbon copy of Castaway Key, that they tried to do
Right.
something different, that they tried to lean into the culture. And I think they did really do a good job. I'm looking forward to seeing the Nat Geo special coming up, talking
Yes,
about creating it, because I think knowing more about the decisions that were
the choice.
made and the connections to the culture is going to help me appreciate it more, and maybe that'll change my opinion a little bit. But yeah, the ship is beautiful. I don't care how bad the island is. I don't get off on the Bahamas. I have a great time.
100%. Doobie does not like sand
Oh
at
no,
all.
he does not like sand.
Um, I wanted to share a few more images of just how beautiful the ship is during the holidays. A lot of people
Just
wear
one real
holiday
quick.
pajamas, by the way.
I was going to say one of the adorable things about being on the
Yeah.
ship at Very Very Time is so many people walking around in pajamas.
And so I wish they had a designated pajama night.
That is, instead of formal night, pajama night. I think that
Yeah,
is
because
a
I think
fantastic idea.
it would just do another thing to make it feel a little like different, like change
Yeah,
the pacing up of the experience. But yeah,
I agree
and
with
they
you.
had Santa and Mrs. Claus. I don't want to totally undersell, the maritime experience. It's just I was expecting a little bit more candy cane, a little bit more gingerbread, a
Yeah,
beef
aside
bevy.
from,
That's what it was.
I agree with you 100% on the food aspect. More
Yeah,
gingerbread, more candy cane, something there. Other than that, I don't know that
yeah,
I
no,
agree
no,
with
no,
you, because
yeah,
I like that they had a lot of Christmas events you could go to, and they were
right,
very easy not to go to if you didn't
right,
want to. It wasn't, I mean, not that I don't love the season, but it wasn't in your face all the
right.
time. They had events you could do, or you could skip them. But I do 100% agree they should have leaned into the food aspect much, much more.
And
Shut up. It took me
and
a
it
while to get
was and they did Holiday Fi, the music. By
yeah.
the way, it was during our cruise that my husband finally caught on to the clever nomenclature that is maritime. And if you don't get it, think about it, maybe you will.
If you don't get it, email me at Doobie at Laughing Places. Clearly, what should be said?
After the cruise, we stopped by Walt Disney World where we got to experience the Country Bear Jamboree in its new Country Bear musical jamboree.
Disney version.
I like it. It's
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. You can check out our Disney Parks talk for our thoughts on that. We had to stop by the 25th anniversary of the Grand Floridian Gingerbread House. Loved it. I still can't get over how simple and fun this is. The lines are now 40 minutes, 50 minutes for Living with the Land in the evening because they've twinkled it up. It's adorable.
It is so cool. This is like one of the little touches that is so much better than it should be. Love this.
And I think Doobie found a new favorite when it comes to the holidays.
These are adorable. They're so cute, and they're cute because the cast members that operate them are just so into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is over at Animal Kingdom, and I love that very much.
And not to be left out, we hopped over to Southern California.
One last time for the year.
And checked out the holiday decor at the Paradise Pier. Nope, Pixar Place.
You were there.
Hotel. And they've done a lovely job of bringing in a variety of trees where they celebrate various Pixar films in their color scheme, in the ornament choices. Doobie got to see his favorite parade of all time over at Disneyland.
Fantasy. I love the Christmas Fantasy Parade. It's so awesome.
And had to see It's a Small World holiday with its coming 2025 sign over the Parisian dancers.
Yep. Love Disneyland at Christmas time. I think this is the second year in a row we've gotten to do it, maybe even third. So pretty cool experience.
We were on a VIP tour, and they had an adorable pin that they gave out on the tour. It actually has articulation. The TikTok face moves back and forth, and the VIPs, the guest relations plaid on the card, and they're featuring that now in a variety of merchandise. So if you are taking a VIP tour, be sure to take a peek because you can only buy it within a small window. So they have like ears and a backpack and a hat and other things with featuring that VIP plaid, that guest relations plaid. And once again, it's like you can buy it during the tour, and then I think like only 90 minutes after the tour, kind of, like they give you a small window to be able to pick those up. And our evening ended with World of Color, which you had not seen before in its entirety.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's kind of hard to miss it when you're in the area, but I've never really just sat and watched the whole thing. And it's, I'm okay with that decision.
You're still not a fan, huh?
I don't hate it, but it's not worth any effort to see. Sorry if you're still there, Tony. How are you going to beat this year? What a question, Nikki B.
Well, yeah, because so this year, bucket list wise, Doobie, we ticked off. We got to go to Bristol. We finally went to Walt's apartment, which we had never done before. In a personal way, personal, not Disney, but now because of Disney, went to Fenway, went to Yankee Stadium, went to Disneyland Paris. I mean, went to Aulani. So it was quite an amazing Disney bucket list checked off.
I'm worried that I'm about to die. We got so much stuff done on the bucket list.
Don't say that. But no, in all seriousness, I'm looking forward to 2025. I'm looking forward to the Disney Treasure. Not that we have a cruise booked, but on the Treasure, but just hearing more about it, getting a feel for what it's like. I'm looking forward to our usual Walt Disney World trips. My family lives in Walt Disney in Orlando, so we get out to Walt Disney World often. So yeah,
and we do have some adventures planned that we won't. We don't need to be specific right here. We're looking back, but we've already got on the calendar some adventures, some repeats, some brand new and exciting that we cannot wait to experience and bring you from our point of view here on Laughing Place. And hopefully you follow our social medias, both Laughing Place and my personal ones, where I like to post a lot of a little more personal stuff on too. And just follow along. This has been quite an adventure for the past. I feel like it really kicked off with our cruise on the Wish last year. So about the
Yeah.
past 18 months or so, it's been quite a ride. And there's no way 25 will compare to 24, but hopefully the ride continues.
It's been amazing. And I really want to thank our pal Benji. He has a major hand in the incredible travels that we had to do, as well as helping Laughing Place become much more, and opening doors as far as like media events that we mentioned we attended during this as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
just
Benji, the man.
incredible year.
Thank you very much, Benji, for everything you've done to help the Mosleys have a 2024 like I never even dreamed I would ever have. Thank you
Yeah,
so
no
much.
way. No way. We're gonna put links below to the articles that these adventures what sparked. And if you have any questions, feel free, drop a comment down below. If any of these spark your interest and you're thinking about checking them out, please drop a comment below. We'd be happy to answer questions. We love chatting about Disney, and we'll acknowledge the pros, the cons. If you tell us things you've liked, we can help you kind of navigate. I know, Doobie, you just were helping a friend of yours who was traveling at Walt Disney World, kind of helping them navigate their trip. They're like, well, my kid didn't like this. What do you think of this ride? And that kind of thing. And so, we're happy to do that. And as always, we want to tell you that our friends over at Mouse Fan Travel, their team of travel planners is amazing, and we recommend any vacation you're thinking about, but especially your Disney vacations or your cruise vacations. Visit our friends at Mouse Fan Travel. Let them know Laughing Place, Doobie and Rebekah sent you over, and they'll be happy to help you out. One nice thing about booking with a travel agent, no additional cost to you, and they'll keep you apprised of discounts and dynamics that will impact your trip. So it's a little less stress for you. You can kind of book it and forget it, and they'll nudge you along the way. So a less stressful planning experience.
Absolutely. So think that's it, right, Rebekah?
Unbelievably, yes.
So
Thank you for taking the time, Doobie, to chat with me about this. It was fun to go back over and look at it. I hope those of you watching enjoyed it too. If you did, give us a like, please.
it is mind blowing. What makes it even more, just to go completely personal right now, what makes it even more mind blowing is we only included our Disney trips.
Yeah.
We had both of us together and separately, had several non-Disney trips that we didn't even include on this. I love flying. I love airports. This has just been such an awesome year. So thank you, everyone, for coming along all the time. Thank you for sticking it out if you've been watching this. Just a quick reminder that I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, for the Christmas Eve edition of the Disney Morning Show. And are you going to be back tomorrow afternoon? Do you know yet?
Right now, that's the plan.
All right. So tomorrow afternoon, scheduled Barely Necessities, 4 p.m. Pacific, and 100% we are doing Disney Trivia Live tomorrow evening, likely at 7:30 p.m., possibly a little earlier, but no later than 7:30 p.m. Pacific, our normal time. So please like, subscribe, ring that bell so you get notified when we go live. And if you really, 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 really like us and want to support us, go ahead and click that join button and be entitled to members-only streams and other member perks like chatting with us in our private Discord. So thank you again. Thank you, Rebekah, for having the idea to do this. It was so much fun. And we will see you tomorrow.